darling, you're beautiful. Gotta keep your head up. Never let anything bring you down. Sunshine will always come around. Stay strong, move on. You have such a beautiful soul. Let your energy radiate.
Hey guys, welcome to Midweek Yoga. This is the second day in the cycle of the new moon. So the new moon phase is usually about 3.5 to 4 days. So today's Wednesday. It started on Monday, late in the day. So I thought it would be fun to just kind of include all of the goodness that comes with a new moon. And it's a kind of an important new moon. So if you're interested in any little tiny deets, please go to my Instagram page at project_Marlene and check it out. It's in one of my posts. I believe it is Monday's post. In the meantime, I just want to get you sort of into that mode. So that's going to be cleansing, of course. So I'm going to do some cleansing breaths, going to just kind of think about the body. Really going through a super easy flow tonight. If you're recorded, then please understand that the flow is going to be great regardless of whether you're still in the new moon cycle or not. And it's always a good time to cleanse, right? I mean, we should always feel a little light, a little bit detoxified, and certainly with everything that's going on here, we need extra special self-care. So that brings in some of the nurturing aspect of this easy flow tonight. Also cooling off the body. It's been extremely hot in the Northeast, and this might be a nice way to offer up just some ideas and just some thoughts as to you can still do yoga in the warm weather if you just take it easy and try to stay low to the ground. So lots of grounding things tonight. I'll try to keep you as low to the ground as possible or as connected to the ground as possible. So again, if there's some more interest in the breathing and the whole concept of cleansing, cooling, nurturing, and grounding, you can check out my Instagram page for my meditation that I offered today. And also, it should be in my YouTube channel, which you're already here. So you should be able to find it pretty easily under episode 9. All right, let's get going. I'm going to invite you to possibly sit a little bit higher. So the props tonight are going to be a brick or a bolster. And I think a blankie would be nice for later, or a bolster as well. So what I'd like to do is I'm actually going to sit on my brick, just put it at the widest part. And then I'm going to take my blankie. I don't know why I still call it a blankie. All my kids, I just love to call it a blankie. And then we're going to, if you have any tassels or anything, try to get those to the back because you're going to want to fold your legs. You really don't want anything to start to bother your feet. You're going to be sitting for a little bit. So again, just coming up on that brick, not falling off the way I almost did. And then really allowing the knees to drop. So it allows us to really open up those hip flexors. So part of the sequencing tonight will just be a lot of reminders to open up, to hollow out, to bend, to breathe into those open spaces. So again, I prefer to sit sort of one leg in front of the other. If, cross leg is your jam and it's comfortable for you to like keep your knees down, that's fine. If not, and you just want to kind of do a little butterfly pose, my knees are still below my hips. There's still a lot of opening. As a matter of fact, I even have opening now behind my knees. So that's super awesome. I just wouldn't bring it in super close. Let's just extend it out a bit to whatever feels comfortable for your knees. The other option, of course, too, is if you are sitting on a bolster and you have 2 bricks, you can place those 2 bricks under your knees. And that's incredible support. And you know what? In retrospect, I wish I had set myself up, but all my bricks are downstairs. So without further ado, we are going to get into the sequencing. When you are ready, if you may, close your eyes. We're going to use our imaginations here. So sometimes it's a little bit easier to do that when our eyes are fully shut. And I'm going to offer up 3 different breaths for tonight. The first breath will just be a long inhale through the nose, a very long exhale through the nose. And just envisioning on these exhales that you're cooling off. So if you're inhaling through the nose, anything that feels warm, we're going to exhale through the nose and imagine that we're just sort of sending a cooling air out. If you're feeling like a little mouth breathing, I'm going to ask you to inhale again through the nose, this time exhaling through the mouth. And maybe just puckering your lips like you're blowing out a candle. Or you're just trying to cool off something, like a little hot soup on a spoon. And then the other option for this evening is to breathe out through your teeth. So it's kind of like a smile. You close your teeth and you just, and there might be a little sound. I'm exaggerating a little bit just so that you can get the sensation of what's happening with the breath through the teeth. And it might even sound like a whistle depending on your formation of your teeth and mouth. Just a little sidebar to that. If you are having some trouble sleeping, which I know a lot of people these days are, or at least different times of the night, just suddenly waking up and not being able to get back to sleep, lots of things going on in our heads, that's creating a lot of heat in the body and energizing the body. So it's leaving that parasympathetic area of the nervous system and going into the sympathetic, which is almost a fight or flight mechanism. So what we want to do in those cases possibly is do that same smile with your teeth, breathe in the air, exhale the air, and try that about 10 times. It's almost like counting sheep. Eventually your mouth will start to relax and the breath will return to normal. And normal is usually a longer exhale than an inhale. And that will also calm the body down. That was a little extra special something, which means I'll move a little bit quicker through the breathing and sort of the meditation or the beginning meditation of this practice. So again, eyes closed, you have the opportunity to take one of the 3 breaths that I offered. And when you're ready, we're going to breathe in together through the nose. Exhaling, nice cool breath. Long exhale, really emptying out the belly. Inhaling again through the nose. Exhaling, maybe switching up the breath to one of the others. Really pulling in the navel into the backbone on the exhale, really emptying it out. One more inhale. Imagining nice cool air flowing right up and out of the body. Almost like you're a little air conditioning unit. And just falling into a natural breathing pattern, allowing the shoulders to fall back and drop. If you need to take a little roll there, go for it. We're just going to imagine that you sort of have a sweeping fan motion, sort of like palm leaves or even the palms of your hands, or maybe a loved one's hands, or someone that maybe is a nurturing energy in your life. And we're just going to imagine that coming up from the feet, over the legs, the front of the knees, tops of the thighs, hips. As you're inhaling, imagine this caress coming up over the torso, around the shoulders, collarbone, up through the neck, jawline, ears, right to the crown of the head. So I really want you to imagine that you've got those big inhales coming right up the whole front body. And it's a little bit of a warm breath maybe because you're just taking it in. On the exhales, I'd like you to imagine from the crown, almost a water fountain of cool, cleansing energy coming back over the head the way it came in. So again, just sticking with the front body for the moment. Coming back over the chest, the belly, the hips, the open tops of the thighs, and perhaps the calves or tops of the feet, depending on your configuration, the way you're sitting. So again, just inhaling and exhaling. If you'd like to continue to take deep inhales and do a cooling breath for the exhale, great. Otherwise, feel free to just fall into a natural breathing pattern. So maybe that energy is happening really quick, depending on how long your breath is. I do still encourage you to just exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. But if you can fall into a natural breathing pattern and go through this imagination of just that warm energy coming up through the body and then that trickle of water on the exhale coming down and around the front body. Just doing that a few times, almost imagining the sensation again of a little air conditioning unit or just a cool water fountain. With the inhales bringing up that grounding energy, and the exhale is bringing forth a cooling, a nurturing, a cleansing. And then start to imagine the back body. So that's going to be at the leg area. It's going to start with anything that's touching the ground, any ground surface. So maybe the inhale starting around the feet area, coming up the ankles and the knees that are near the ground, the backs of the thighs, the sits bones coming up that lower backbone, right up again over the shoulders, the neck, the back of the head to the crown. And once again, that crown will allow just a fluid like motion to come out with cooling energy, nurturing energy, cleansing energy, until it crosses over the whole length of the body, back down and puddles into the ground, allowing you to just sink a little bit deeper on the exhales, maybe feeling a little bit muddy or a little bit cushiony, a little bit surrounded, really supported, almost cocoon-like around the base of the body. When you're ready, one last inhale as arms are going to rise up. This time, drawing all the warm energy completely around you, like a full cocoon surrounding the body, up through the armpits, opening the elbow creases, maybe circling the wrists and getting some breathing going here, but almost imagining that you're keeping that energy right above your head where your hands are. Maybe you loosen the fingertips, wave them out a little, create like a little fan motion, which is allowing the wrists to also get movement, allowing the elbows to get movement. Maybe the arms start to sway back and forth. Opening up the armpits, feeling the hollows there, making sure that we're not overextending the shoulders or the shoulder blades. Everything is relaxed. Continue to breathe, keeping that energy just above the head, allowing the eyes and the cheeks and the jaw to all just relax, earlobes, everything up at the top here. And when you're ready, exhale, the arms come down, bringing that cool, surrounding cocoon till the fingers hit the ground right to the sides of you. One more deep breath in, maybe just roll the shoulders back one more time. And on the exhale, letting them drop as the blade slides down the tailbone, as the blades slide down the upper back. Fingertips are now just lightly touching the ground, and we're going to start to crawl out the right fingertips Just little walking, little, if you'd like to open up your eyes now, you can. We're going to bend that right elbow. And we're going to allow that left arm to just sort of caress the knee, the left knee, come up the thigh, caress and opening that left torso, even maybe just coming just under the armpit, helping it open up and allowing the arm to just peel up. Maybe looking up and exhaling, bending that right elbow, allowing our gaze to go into the left elbow crease. Breathing in and maybe blowing some cool air towards that elbow crease. Seeing if on the exhales we can just bend a little bit further without straining the neck, without scrunching the shoulder into the neck, really drawing that right shoulder down from the right earlobe. One more breath. And on the exhale, coming up, left hand comes down now, left fingertips start to crawl out. As we take that right hand and we caress right from the right kneecap all the way up that top thigh, that nice open hip, the torso, just picking up the elbow, opening up that armpit. And then the exhale, releasing, just peeling the hand right up, gaze comes up. One more breath. And then on the exhale, bending that left elbow as we bring the right arm up, gazing at that elbow crease. And on the exhale, blowing cool air, cooling it off. A couple more breaths here. Allowing that right knee to press into the mat. Don't let it lift up too much. So we're almost imagining that there's a line from the right knee to the left shoulder, and that line is pulling away from each other, allowing you to keep that right knee down. Exhale. I'm going to go to the other side and try that same technique here. This time there's a line from the left knee to the left shoulder, and it's pulling apart. Left knee to right shoulder, and it's pulling apart. Allowing that right shoulder to stay away from the ear. Exhaling, rising up one last time. Right knee, left shoulder. Really opening up. When you're ready, both hands are going to come up again. So we're pressing off of that left hand, letting the shoulder blades drop into their sockets. Nice energized elbows here. As we exhale, we're going to plant the hands in front of us and just come to a table position. So you might already be facing the front of your mat. I'm going to take a minute here and I'm just going to roll my blankie. I'm actually going to roll it a little bit longer than normal. So I'm going to roll it this way. Again, making sure that the tassels, if you have any, or binding is on the inside. So it's going to be nice and smooth. I'm going to put that off to the side for maybe some cool down. And then we're going to take that block and we're going to bring it to the top of the mat. Maybe we'll use that a little bit later. Coming into table, curling the toes under, going right for our cow, allowing the belly to drop on the inhale. Gaze comes up. Shoulder blades draw towards each other as the tailbone rises. On the inhale, nice extension, really pressing into the feet. And on the exhale, tops of the feet come down nice and slow. Trying not to cause any heat in the body tonight. We'll get there soon enough with our open hip poses and our balancing poses. Our little twist that I have planned. So just taking really nice, easy inhales and exhales with that nice exhale and a cleansing breath. Feel free to make as much noise with your mouth as you would like. I just caution you on pursing the lips too much and allowing any hydration to escape. We tend to lose a lot of that in the summer just by saying, oh, so hot. Oh, I can't take it anymore. You're actually expelling a lot of moisture from your mouth that you really could use. Maybe just try that other technique or one of the two that I showed you. And just easily let the exhale cool you off. When you're ready, we're going to come into a neutral position, stretching out the right foot, just opening up the soles of the feet. A little bouncing here. Going to the other side, a little bouncing. I'm going to even curl in my right toes just to, get some stretch going in there. A little bit of bounce, just opening up that back part of the leg, getting ourselves ready for our standing poses, which isn't going to come quite yet. What I'd like you to do is sit down on your heels and then just kind of move off to the left or the right, sweeping the legs in front of you, coming to the front of your mat, lining up your heels with the outer edges of the mat. And then slowly, if you can, controlling the belly, vertebrae by vertebrae, with feet strong and flexed. See if you can just slowly lower down. Both feet come up, knees up to the ceiling. We're going to just come in for a little hug. You can hold your kneecaps. You can hold behind your kneecaps. I kind of like that because it also, once again, allows some air and some energy to come in. Just trying not to say folded and crumpled up tonight. Just really imagining lots of opening. Now, of course, we will do a couple of forward folds, but I will keep it as open as possible, if that makes any sense. And then we're going to slowly raise the legs to the ceiling. Again, flexing the feet. And maybe just giving just a little bit of a tug, not lifting our head up at all. If you find that your chin is drawing up or your shoulders start to draw up or you get a little tunnel behind your neck, just remind yourself to relax, loosen up. Even if you have to just breathe in and let the lips go and relax. Again, just trying to open up a little bit of the sits area here. We're going to take the left foot and bring it down to the mat. The right foot is going to stay up. We're going to bend the knee and just cross it over the left thigh. Going for a reclined pigeon here. So again, doing something of a hip opener, but keeping ourselves on the ground as opposed to doing this with our heads up and folding over in a normal pigeon. So we're picking up that left leg, and again, just giving little pumps here. So this is allowing that the right joint of the lower hip where the thigh meets your buttocks, and it's just kind of opening that little ball up. And then when we put the foot back down, we can take the right hand, press it on the top of the right knee or just above the top on the inner thigh. We can just give little pulses with our right hand. And that's opening up just a little bit more of the hip flexor. Again, keeping that foot flexed as much as possible. And now we're just going to do some circles with our ankle while we have it here. Just opening everything up. Inhaling, foot rises to the ceiling. The right foot comes down. And now we're going to go for the left foot. So again, rising up, crossing it over, picking up that right knee, just going in for that reclined pigeon, just pulsating a little bit here and there. Feeling that nice opening really starting to happen. Keeping that left foot flexed is a great idea. Getting a little bit of energy happening now. As the right foot comes down, we're going to press our left hand on the top of our left knee, drawing it away from us, and just opening up a little bit of that hip flexor there. Not forgetting to breathe, but take it at your own pace. Use your cooling breath whenever needed. And let's do some ankle rolls on this side. Wherever you go, forward or back, make sure you go the opposite direction a couple of times as well. we're going to lift that leg up on the inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to bring your feet back down to the bottom of the mat. Let's put our hands at a T first. Let's start with that. Now, if that's not comfortable for you, which is a great actual opening for the arms, you can even do a goal post, which still allows some opening, not as much on the elbows, but they're still pretty good. Or you can also just reach your hands straight up to the corners of the mat and through, which is almost like you're standing in a 5-pointed star if your feet were to be out. And then just for a little bonus on the core workout, we're going to see if we can draw our knees up into our chest without using our hands. And just imagine how close can you bring those knees. If you draw the knees to the center line, you sort of close the gap between the legs. See how much you can curl in there. Really imagine your tailbone curling up. And just do a couple of pumps there. So it's almost like little crunches, little reverse crunches. Again, the key is to keep the knees drawn together, drawing the belly button to the backbone as you come up. And when you're ready, we're going to take the legs and we're going to bring them over to the left. Now, if you're comfortable with taking this left hand to the right knee and you want to get a little bit more stretch in here, great. The other option, so that you can keep your elbows and your armpits nice and open, is you can take this right leg and you can actually cross it, almost like you're doing a cross-legged pose. And then bringing it over. Or if you're over already, you can just cross it that way. And now what's happening is the left leg is actually pressing onto that right ankle calf area. And that's sort of your leverage. So you can really bring that knee over, still feel an incredible stretch, engaging the legs a little bit more, but allowing yourself to still feel open at the top. I kind of prefer that. So I'm going to go with that tonight. And I'm feeling a little bit flexible for the time being. So I'm going to do this. The key here is we're going to look over to the right, like we would normally do in our reclined twist. And I'd like you to send a couple of cooling breaths over to the armpit. Maybe send a couple of more over up towards the elbow crease if your hands are up above you, or even if they're in a T, just see if you can blow a little bit further out, cooling off that elbow crease. Feeling that nice opening in the right chest, in the right rib cage, coming over the thigh. When you're ready, legs come up. Again, trying not to use your hands over here, and maybe going just for a couple more pulses, curling that tailbone, playing with it, seeing how far you can get with your knees, drawing towards your chest. But again, trying to keep that neck stable. So we don't want to curl it up. We don't want to be pulling at anything. We don't want our jaw to be tightening. When you're ready, taking those legs, once again, bringing them over. And if you want to go for your little crossy legs, go for it. Opening up the arms, taking the gaze over towards the left side of the body now. Seeing how close we can get that left knee to the ground. Feeling that nice twist opening up. And once again, trying to get that cool air on the exhale. Maybe first start out to the armpit. Feel the breeze. Even if only in your imagination. Really opening up, feeling that great twist, nice and nurturing, luxurious. Exhaling, bringing the knees back, placing the feet on the ground, sliding those legs back out. And now, maybe, if you think you could do it, see if you can just bring those arms up overhead and maybe feel a little bit of a lift of the chest, tucking in the belly, slowly rising. maybe one vertebrae at a time coming up. If that's not in your practice, don't worry about it. We're just going to come back into table, meet you there. I'm going to get a sip of water. And I recommend you do too in any practice in the next few weeks. We're going to get hotter before we get cooler. So make sure that you're hydrating. Curling the toes under, we're going to go up for our first down dog. Just lean our chest on our thighs. We're going to inhale and come down. Exhale, come up. Inhale, come down. Exhale, come up. A couple more times. Your own breath. Really reaching the sits bones back. Playing with it a little bit more. A little bounce back there. Drawing the heels towards the back of the mat. Making sure that our elbows are turning outwards in an outward rotation. Getting the shoulder blades engaging down the back. Tailbone rising. Head is just soft and dangling. Getting nice support in the palms. Fingertips are wide. Air is coming in there. Air is coming in our elbows, our armpits, the openness that's happening, the hollowness. As we scoop the belly, getting some air in there, allowing the heels to maybe go back and fall back and drop to the mat. Not necessarily pushing our kneecaps back, but almost pushing the center of our thigh bones back. Bringing those hips up. Again, drawing the navel towards the backbone. Exhales. Nice scooping happening here. So we have our full down dog. My dog's a little short tonight. If that's the case for you and you want to just walk your hands out one hand length, just don't lose the height in your hips. Drawing that tailbone behind you, pelvis forward. Just take a couple of little walking steps now. Loosening up, making sure nothing is tight, everything's open and cool. Settling in, looking to the front of the mat. Let's walk our feet up between our hands. And coming into our forward fold. So I'd like to do the forward fold a little bit different tonight. Up at the top, let's open up our feet, maybe a little bit wider than our hips. Really get a nice bend in the knee. And then imagine that tailbone is being drawn up into the sky. Maybe you got a string that's just pulling it up. And it's allowing your belly to really get a nice scoop. Really allow the torso to come in contact, leaning on the thighs. But still imagine that you've got that scoop in the belly, the tailbone's lifting up, and the head is drawing down. This would be a great thing if you have a ponytail and you can pull on your pony. I chose pigtails tonight, so that's not going to work. And just allow the arms, the hands to come. Maybe get a little swaying in here. So this is a nice grounding pose, right? But we're folding. But see if you can get the elbows bent. Maybe the tops of the hands come to the floor. Like a little ape pose, like a baby ape. And just kind of rock back and forth. Just keeping the breathing going by hollowing out that belly, allowing the head to say no, yes, loosening the jaw, the eyes, maybe they're closing now. And when you're ready, you're going to really sit back there. We're going to look forward and come on our fingertips. Pressing back. This is what our half lift is going to look like. So it's really open. I will show you. Really open here. We're going to bend into the knees, really pressing in as we rise up. With the hands up for Urdhva Hastasana at the front of your mat, allowing the arms to sweep down, up again, and just getting some moon circles going here. Starting to open up the rotators in the shoulders, Maybe turning the palms up towards the ceiling as the hands come up, and then down towards the floor as the hands come down. So getting a little rotation there. And again, it's an inhale on the palms up. It's an exhale on the palms down. And let's try that through the front. We're going to inhale, palms up, and then exhale, palms down. And almost feel the air coming through the fingertips like a fan. If you want to send some cooling breath out too in between each of the digits, go for it. Finally, we're going to come up one more time. Hands come together in prayer. We're going to just set a little intention for this new moon, a little bit of cleansing. I think I still have a closet or a drawer that could use some cleansing. I certainly have many compartments inside of me that could use some cleansing. And just allowing the breath to release that toxicity one last time, hopefully, as we set an intention for cooling, nurturing, and grounding, whatever that means to you. A couple of deep breaths in, a nice long cooling breaths out. Once again, the hands are going to rise up to Urdhva Hastasana as we exhale, forward fold. Again, we've got that, wide-legged sort of fold happening. Really bending the knees, rising up, allowing the knees now to straighten as we get our little back bend. Halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant down. Stepping to the back of the mat, however you choose. Going right up into your down dog. That's going to be your traditional down dog. As we come up on the left toes, the right toes are going to come all the way up to the ceiling. Really nice stretch here, opening it up really in these sun sals. Feel every movement of it because we're going to go super slow, and I want you to really enjoy the luxury of opening the body. Exhaling, bringing that knee to nose, the right foot steps between the front hands. The left foot joins the right. And I'm going to ask you to open up your legs one more time. Sitting back for that forward fold, allowing the hips to rise. Pressing on the shins for your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, head draws down. Inhale, arms up, palms up. Exhale, palms down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands maybe will plant between the feet because you have just enough room there between the feet, just at the toes, the front. Stepping back with the left foot, making sure we got a nice open lunge here. And stepping back with the right foot. Now we've got a nice distance here to pull back. And you can even do a bent knee down dog if that's in your practice. We're going to come up on the toes for plank. And let's just take it really easy tonight with the knees, chest lowering, scooping the chin, rising up for cobra. You can even rise up for high cobra if that makes you feel more open. If you feel that your back is crunching, you have to imagine you're drawing your tailbone down and raising your chest. This is really happening from the upper chest and the upper back, not the lower back. Curling the toes under, exhale, coming up to down dog. Coming up on the toes on the right side, this time really taking a nice luxurious stretch, getting that left foot really up high. Exhaling, bringing the knee to nose, stepping between the hands. Again, maybe just starting out here, moving that left foot out a little bit to the left. Pressing into the left foot as you bring the right up. And that little open leg, forward fold. Coming in on the knees, halfway lift. Exhale again, inhale, rising up. Exhale, forward fold. Planting the hands, stepping back with the right foot towards the back right corner. Left foot comes down. And maybe going into a bent knee down dog. Inhaling for plank. Exhale, knees come down. Lower high cobra. Throwing those shoulder blades back, getting a nice back bend in the upper back. Toes are pointing out. Then they curl. As you exhale, press up into downward dog. Again, a bent knee situation. So we did 2 sun sals, or I should say 1 on each side. Now we're going to go into a moon salutation for the new moon. So what I'd like you to do is exhale, lower onto the knees. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, sweep the hands behind you for seed pose or embryo pose, allowing the contact to happen with the top of your head to the mat. Again, if you can't get there, you can always just place your hands here to support the head. That's really important. But a nice cool grounding happening here. Just taking one moment. Inhaling, coming up on the knees, arms come up for a new moon circle. Inhale. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, we're going to bring those hands forward, reaching out into our puppy pose as we slide this time into our low cobra. Pressing in, coming up to our down dog. High on the left toes, right foot. Once again, steps. And let's keep it open here too, why not? So that's going to step a little bit further to the right. We're just going to bend in for our forward fold, lifting the hips. Inhale, coming for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming up with the palms up. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back, this time with the left foot, but sending it right straight behind you. Not taking it out to the side like we did for the sun sal. Allowing that right foot to plant. Bring down the shin. Flatten the foot. Pressing up for Anjaneyasana. And as we come down, really bring that moon circle to frame the foot. Curling that left toe under, right foot meets the left for down dog. Coming back down on our knees. Exhaling, sweeping the hands back for seed pose. Inhale, coming up for that new moon. Exhale, down, palms down. Inhale, palms up, new moon. Exhale, coming forward, rounding the back as we go into our puppy pose. Inhaling, coming in for cobra. Exhale, pressing up, pressing through the toes. Coming on the right toe mound now. Left foot's going to step up. Right foot's going to be on the outer edge. Excuse me, on the outside of the mat. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, that new moon. Exhale, coming down. Inhale again. Exhale, plant the hands. This time that right foot's going to come straight back. We're going to plant the shin down, flatten out the foot. Inhale, rising up for our Anjaneyasana, but doing a nice crescent into a new moon. Sweet. Planting the hands in front, stepping back, downward dog. Going to come down one more time into our little seed, little embryo, sweeping the hands back. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Puppy. Scooping up, sliding up to low cobra. Curling the toes. Coming back into down dog. We're going to bend the knees. Come up on the toes and walk the hands back towards the feet. Maybe bringing the feet now together, one big foot. Coming a little bit on our knees, really pressing off of our knees with our belly onto our top of our thighs. Exhale, pressing up. Let's give another new moon salute. And I personally love looking at the sky in the evening through the trees in my backyard. And I did a beautiful yoga practice yesterday out in the park for yoga in our city, and it was delightful to offer a tree pose. So we're going to either take it easy tonight and just draw that right leg out, grounding into the left, and just taking our branches and bringing them up for a nice tree pose. Finding stability like a kickstand with your toe and your heel connecting, but still engaging like we do in Tadasana, that whole left leg. Finding that open hip space. And if you want to go for a little bit more hip space, start to bring your foot up. Again, keeping that knee straight out to the side, engaging that left leg. You can also reach down, bring it up a little bit further. Find a nice press of the foot, pressing the leg together, allowing for that stability. Again, raising your branches and maybe just waving the branches, getting some air in there, getting some air in the armpits. Feeling that opening, that energizing. My friend did something amazing last night where she did like something like this. And I just thought that was great too. That's feeling a little bit constricting for me. Lowering that foot, just wiggling it out a little bit, opening it up. I just really feel like spreading my feet a little bit more tonight instead of keeping them together in such a strong position, just allowing some of that fluidity to happen naturally in that second chakra. Grounding on the right foot this time. Let's come up with our kickstand on the left, drawing that knee out, drawing up the kneecap and the quad on that right leg, really opening the hips, drawing in the belly, opening up the chest, shoulders down just like we do in Tadasana, and then inhaling with those arms up, nice branches, maybe letting them sway. Again, taking whatever position feels right for you tonight. Sometimes it's difficult for me when I don't have a drishti. Just looking at the camera and just waving those arms and bringing that leg down whenever you're ready. Clearly, I was quite ready. All right, shaking it out, feeling that openness, feeling that looseness. We are ready to go into our open hip poses. So we're going to just take a couple of steps forward here, bending into that knee, that front knee. Left heel is going to draw back. The left toes will come up to the left front part of the mat, almost at a 45-degree angle as we get into our warrior two. And I'm going to really encourage you to crawl your toes out and see how low can you go. Again, we're taking simple flows here, but it's all about opening. It's all about letting that air come through so that we can feel that cooling and that cleansing, and really getting low to the ground so that we get that nice cooling, comforting sensation from the ground. Okay. Turning the right knee towards the right, allowing the torso to turn towards the left, opening up the arms, nice parallel opening, leaning in there, drishti gaze, going over that middle finger for warrior two. Again, if you want to send some cool air. Out over the right arm, that's excellent. Inhaling, left hand's going to come down the thigh, maybe a nice caress, once again, like we did in the beginning of the warm-ups. Bringing the palm up and over for peaceful warrior. Nice stretch, maybe blowing some cool air into that elbow crease. Seeing how low we can get in that right knee, really challenging yourself. On the inhale, rise up. Forearm is going to come to the top of the right thigh as that left hand now caresses and opens up that whole left body. Pinky towards the ground, left pinky engaged, really pressing into the mat as we once again look up, maybe blowing some cool, energizing air into our armpits. And if we can lean really far back, maybe we can try to blow some cool air up into the ceiling. Keeping the distance from that right shoulder and right earlobe. Feeling that nice corkscrew opening And really getting that left hip to draw forward and down allows us to really use that arm and leverage ourselves and come right up into our extended side angle pose. Exhaling, we're going to frame the feet. We're going to step back, downward dog. Coming up on our toes, we're going to walk our hands back. Feet are going to come together this time as we press in and slowly rise up. Now taking a step forward on the left foot, getting into that really wide warrior two stance. Making sure that we have enough space where our right hip can now come down and forward, really allowing that knee to bend, not being shy about it. Turning the torso to the right, opening up our wingspan, gazing over the left middle finger, blowing some cool energy, some cooling comfort, some nurturing. Next inhale, caressing that back right thigh, left arm comes up and over for a peaceful warrior. Again, getting really low on that left knee. Nice bend, really grounding in the soles of the feet. Breathing up into the crease of the elbow. Inhale, we're going to come down with that forearm, caressing the body on the right side this time, bringing the arm up and over the right ear. Pinky down, right pinky toe, drawing a nice straight line up to the right pinky of the hand, and maybe opening it up. Corkscrew, little back bend. Drawing that right hip down and forward, really allowing that chest to open. Exhale, we're going to frame the feet, step it back, downward dog. This time rising up on the toes, peeling that right foot up. Let's go for a nice stretch. Oh, it's so good. Looking between the hands, stepping it up, bringing that foot back, coming into warrior two this way, just going a little bit faster in our flow. Not getting too hot and heated, but just keeping a nice flow. Coming back into peaceful warrior after that extended side angle, straighten that front leg. And we're going to lean and caress now, all the way to our shin, as the left arm peels up for a triangle pose, Trikonasana. Keeping that same distance that we had in our other poses from shoulder to ear on the right side. Maybe allowing the hands to just be happy fans today. Don't need to be super straight, super energized. You can have cooling energy, nurturing energy. Just leaning back into that, kind of opening it all up, imagining we could have that internal air conditioner just blowing coolness through all the open angles. We've got lots of angles here in our triangle pose. Exhale, we're going to bring that knee forward. We're going to press off of that left foot for, of course, what is a new moon without a half moon pose? An Ardha Chandrasana. Peeling up that arm again. We were just there. We know how this works. Pointing that foot towards the left side, really drawing the heel down and back into the wall behind you as if you're standing on it. Pressing into that right arm, getting nice stability, and taking that beautiful straight line right up. Gaze is there. Straighten that right knee, pressing in. Woo. Exhale, let that foot join the front foot, and let's get a nice open leg forward fold. Couple of breaths here. Sending some coolness to your thigh, your right thigh. Maybe rocking over, blowing a little coolness to the right knee and ankle. When you're ready, just come up for a little halfway lift, straightening the legs. Exhale, forward fold. Still trying to keep it as much to the ground as we can. stepping, hopping, however you find yourself, back in down dog. Coming up on the right toes this time. Ooh, nice stretch. Left leg all the way up to the sky. Stepping it forward. Coming into that warrior two this time from this side. And just going with our flow. Peaceful warrior. Extended side angle. Flowing it up again. Peaceful warrior. Straightening that leg. Sliding that hand down. Trikonasana. Really opening, having fun with the hands. Maybe doing an outward rotation of the elbow, allowing even more depth to come in to that armpit. Breathing it in, cooling it off. When you're ready, we're going to get into that left knee bend. That's it. Grab that block. Get yourself nice and stable. Get that right leg up. Pointing the toes towards the right. Straightening out the left leg. Pressing in. Pressing the heel back behind you. We even feel a tug of the head, the crown towards the front as you open up for your Ardha Chandrasana half moon pose. See how high you can get that right leg. Ooh, keep lifting it. Maybe pulse it up. Ooh. All right, come down. Nice little wide legged, or I should say semi-wide leg forward fold. It's not a true wide leg forward fold. That would be the long side of the mat. We're not just going to go there today because you know what? We're trying to make this an easy, lighter flow, and I don't want you to be expending too much energy. Trying to keep it down, trying to keep it cool. Once again, getting back to down dog however you would like. I would highly recommend coming into a child's pose right now. Otherwise, feel free to take a vinyasa flow if that's in your practice. Maybe take a couple if you want to come through Chaturanga Dandasana. Since we didn't do that, I just caution you to take it slow, take it thoughtfully. And if that's not in your practice and you choose to stay in down dog, that's cool too. I'm going to take it to child's pose. And I'm just going to breathe and give you some breathing cues. Again, excellent time to hydrate after you finish your flow. Break out of down dog or go back into your child's pose. Just take 5 breaths when you're ready for stillness. Next inhale, rising up to table, curling the toes under, coming up to downward facing dog. Up on the left toes. One last stretch we got here on the right side before we step forward and position that left foot to warrior one. So we're going to railroad track that. We're not on a balance beam. We're going to bend that front knee, rise up for our warrior one. So we're going to try to draw that left hip forward, right hip to the right, left to the left. I'm going to just hold that pose because we really want to get some openness and some length. So bending into that right knee, seeing where your center body is. If you were to draw a diagonal line from your right shoulder to your left hip and pull those 2 points away from each other, and then draw a diagonal line from your left shoulder to your right hip and draw those 2 points away from each other, automatically you might notice that you're feeling a little bit more balanced, a little bit more centered, just by imagining and feeling those joints pulling apart in a very soft, gentle, nurturing way. And that center line where they intersect is really the center of your body. So you should almost be able to sink in a little bit deeper knowing that you have that stability. I won't keep you here this long. We're going to straighten out that right front leg. We're going to bring the left one in just a little bit, setting up for pyramid pose. Again, if you need to use your block, or if you had to, set it up by your foot. And as the arms are up, reaching forward, hinging, slowly, slowly. Nice control of the abs. As we fold over, maybe just to the inner right knee. Again, allowing ourselves to have space in the fold. On the exhales, really scooping the belly, maybe getting a little bit of space there. Certainly we've got a triangle of space or a pyramid of space. Maybe even seeing if you do have blocks, moving them out a little bit and just kind of getting a nice openness into the arms. So you're feeling that air circulating under the armpits and the elbow creases. Allowing the head to really drop and feel weighty. Again, bringing everything towards the ground for its cooling, comforting nature. Shaking the head, just making sure we're nice and loose. Sort of like that ragdoll or bended knee that we did in our sun cells. Just letting it flow down. All right, when you're ready, coming up halfway, if you do have that brick, bring it close to your left inner foot. The right inner foot. We're pressing that left hand in. I need a little bit more space today, so I'm going to bring it a little bit further out. So maybe not as close to that leg. Hopefully I won't need as much leverage. If you feel you need a little bit more leverage, bring it closer. And then we're going to just start to turn the body. So if you notice that your left heel starts to pick up, you can even put a blanket under there, or you could fold the back of your mat. And that just supports it enough. Really want it to be grounded down in that straight leg, okay? Pressing into that brick on the left-hand side, really turning the torso up. Once the torso is up, then you allow the gaze to follow. Maybe even the hand comes up first and then the gaze towards the hand, so that we're not leading with our neck. This is not a neck twist posture. This is a revolve triangle. And we want to feel that elongation of the spine. We want to feel the opening of the chest and the twisting, the really squeezing out all those toxins, all these cooling breaths, all these cleansing breaths. We need to release that toxin now. And this is how we do it. Setting some cool air maybe up the arm. Making sure the head is not so tight. For some reason, I'm feeling a little tightness in my neck. When you're ready, the knee is going to bend. Both hands are going to frame the feet. You're going to put your prop out of the way for the time being. I'm going to step back. I need to kick that mat. Downward facing dog. Coming up on the right toes now. We're going to get that left foot really pointing. This is going to be your last stretch. Oh, it's going to be good. Maybe even dropping that right heel, really feeling the stretch. Then coming up on the ball, looking forward, bringing that left foot between the hands, planting the right foot, ready for warrior one. Coming up, making sure we got a nice distance in our legs. That right hip is coming forward. Nice open stance, coming as low as we can on the left knee. Arms rise up. And once again, let's take a little cross section. We're going to take the right shoulder and draw a line to the left hip. We're going to pull those two spaces apart. Then we're going to draw a line from the right hip to the left shoulder, pulling those two spaces apart. I've automatically just turned my body at least a degree or two forward. Finding that center of your body, see if you can sink in a little bit lower. Holding that, just breathing, playing with it. You don't have to stay still. Even if you're wobbling a little bit or you're feeling like a little pinch, come out of it, come back in, allow that opening. When you're ready to straighten that leg, bringing that right foot in a little bit so we can set up for a pyramid, kicking that right heel back, reaching forward, hinging forward. Again, grabbing a block or two. So you can inhale, exhale, just fold maybe a little bit on the inner left knee, giving nice space in the belly and in the chest. A little scoop of the belly when we exhale just reminds us that there's also space that can happen in there. Ooh. Elbows bent, airing out the armpits, airing out the head. Maybe getting some air out the lips. Allowing that head to draw down to that delicious, cooling, supporting ground, Mother Earth. A little bit more drop in. Okay, we'll look for our prop, our block. Bring that where you need it to be on the inner part of the left foot. Pressing that right hand in. Doing whatever you need for that back heel to keep it supported. I'm going to see if I can get my twist on this side without lifting it. Oh, it's a little lifted. I'm just going to go for it. You know what? I'm going to lead by example. Fold up my mat. Let me remember where my toes were, because that was a perfect distance for me. Straighten that leg. All right, I'm ready. Pressing into the right hand. Reaching up, torso turning. And then I'm going to decide to look up. Send some cool air up there. Almost feeling the thighs pulling together, really getting a nice balance and draw. Doing that actually allows me to contract my belly a little bit and to even turn just a little bit more. It's almost like I'm pressing off of that back right leg, getting me to turn a little bit more, really wringing out those tops as we work so hard to cleanse tonight. Staying a little bit longer in our pose, luxuriating in our pose. Yeah, luxuriating, but love it later. Coming back down, we're going to bend that knee, send our prop off to the front, frame the foot, step it back, downward facing dog. We're going to come down onto our knees. Take whatever pose you like, whether it's child's pose, seat pose. Maybe you want to come into that puppy pose. I'm just feeling called to do that. I just want to open up my chest a little bit. And this really allows it to do that in the drop. Allows me to lift my hips up one last time. Pressing the tops of the feet down. Head drawing down. Inhaling, sliding forward from puppy. Lowering down to your belly if you're in dog. And also sliding forward from child's pose. Pressing in to the forearms. The hands are in front, maybe just slightly ahead of the shoulders as the elbows are drawing back into Sphinx pose. We're going to keep the feet towards the midline. So feet are together, toes are pointed, and we're really pressing in to those left pinky toes. My kneecaps tend to come up. I engage those. I press my thighs down. This is drawing my tailbone towards my heels as the pelvis also is pressing forward, allowing my chest to rise without much work on my part. Now I draw my shoulders down my back. A little lift of the head, slightly looking forward. For a very subtle grounding back bend. No need to do much more here. If you choose to grab your legs, you have to come out of your Sphinx pose a little bit. Bending your knees, grabbing the feet. You can also bend your knees, pointing the toes up towards the sky. Again, engaging those tops of the thighs, really pressing them down so that the tailbone draws down and really able to lift that chest a little bit more. That is all the back bend I need for tonight, guys. A couple of last cooling breaths here. Really engaging everything for this back bend, opening the chest, but allowing the coolness to come through the throat. Opening the throat, relaxing the jaw. Releasing when you are compelled to no longer hold the pose. On an exhale, head comes down. Maybe we just rock our hips back and forth. We can bring our feet up this time. Feet relaxed and just windshield wiper from side to side. Feel free to take the arms, support the chin. And just a nice relaxing sensation coming down to the ground, feeling the coolness as maybe the fronts of our hip bones melt in side to side, making connection. Allowing the belly to rise and fall, and just settling in. Taking just a minute or two here. Chin on the hands, back of the hands. I also recommend keeping the toes together, maybe drawing out the heels. This allows a little bit of relief to the lower back. And of course, bringing one cheek to the ground and arms to the side is even more of a relief because you're really releasing that shoulder blade and you're releasing yourself fully from the back bend. Because even if your hands are under your chin, you're still getting a little something's happening there. This really lets it just all hang loose. And if you're so inclined, switching cheeks for the last couple of breaths over to the other side so that everything is equal and even in the body. Really allowing everything to die down, melting into the cool earth. You'll be feeling a breezy sensation across your back, like we did in warm up, feeling that trickle of water from the crown over the back body, down the back legs to the feet. Sweeping this time down the inner arms. If the palms are up at your sides, you can feel that nice openness, maybe even opening the arms a little bit, allowing just those last breaths to come through the armpits. Elbow creases one last time, palms of the hands. Maybe the fingers are fans. Maybe just lift the feet up and allow the toes to be fans. Wiggling out the ankles. And then however you need to get there, pressing into the ground and rolling over onto our backs for Shavasana. And taking a very nurturing forward fold just to allow that back spine to neutralize just a little bit more. I'm going to bring my knees up, helping them this time with my hands. I'm just going for a little rock back and forth. And just some knee circles. Really slow, nothing too exaggerated. And if you feel you're ready for Shavasana, by all means, take the heels out to the bottom of the mat. If you want just another minute to kind of come down. I do love the feet up in a supine dandasana. Not activating the feet in a flex, just really letting them hang up there. A couple of breaths, allowing the shoulders to already drop, back of the head to drop, and draw down the crown, letting the jaw fall back, cheekbones, eye sockets. Maybe the eyes are closing or closed now as the brows and the brow bones start to just melt into the back of the head, into the ground. Maybe bending the knees, one last hug. As you let the feet slide to the bottom of the mat if they're not there already. And if you've placed that little blanket off to your side, maybe bringing it in and doing one or two things. Maybe putting it behind the neck and just supporting the curve of the neck. Maybe taking your block or your two blocks, supporting underneath your thighs, that lower thigh above the knee, letting the legs splay open. If you have a bolster there, that's great too. Taking a couple of nice cleansing inhales, however you choose, nose, mouth. If you'd like to exhale a sigh or a hum, you can do that too. Just 3 nice inhales and exhales, however you feel is good and right. And I'm going to just take my hands, my palms, I'm just going to form a little triangle right at my lower abdomen, below my belly button. So my thumbs are almost touching right below my belly, and my pointer fingers are forming the triangle, pointing down towards my first chakra, my grounding chakra. Color is red, Muladhara chakra. Take a nice inhale and exhale. Inhale again. Exhale. Inhale one more time. Letting everything just melt down. Maybe that triangle now opens in your hands and the arms come out to the side. Maybe a little bit further than normal, just to keep that opening and coolness in the body and allowing the ground to really absorb like a cocoon, just wrapping around your limbs and your fingers and toes. Maybe wrapping around your shoulders. Nice feeling, nice and cleansed when you're breathing. Allowing it all to just be nurtured by the earth. Letting all those toxins just drip down into the mud. And I think what I'd like to do is end the practice here. So you can just stay in this nurturing place as long as you need. I thank you. I love you. Enjoy the rest of your evening or day. And I will see you next week.
Darling, darling, you're beautiful. Gotta keep your head up. Never let anything bring you down. Sunshine will always come around. Stay strong, move on. You have such a beautiful soul. Let your energy radiate.